Good afternoon. I'm Charles Allen, I'm the CEO of Bitcoin Shop, and today I want to take the opportunity to give all our shareholders a little bit of an update on some of the recent developments, as well as give you an updated tour of our North Carolina facility. But before we start, let's just take a moment and have a look at the Safe Harbor Statement. So for those of you that have been following our company for some time now, You'll remember we made a strategic switch at the end of last year to move into transaction verification services, or Bitcoin mining. And essentially what that is verifying transactions on the Bitcoin network. And for doing so, we are rewarded with newly issued Bitcoins. In our belief, at the heart of both Bitcoin and blockchain technologies is the network, which is maintained by miners. And one of the things we've recognized is that finding the revenue generators and profit centers within the Bitcoin and blockchain technology space is paramount to our company's future. And we entered the mining space at the end of last year when many others were running away from the space because of the decline of price in Bitcoin and the increase in the difficulty level. And for those of you that took the time to watch the video, we kind of put up this chart, and this is the difficulty level is somewhat stabilized. It's increasing slowly, and the price is quite stable as well in the 240 range. So some very interesting corporate developments that we've had in the last since the beginning of the year. First off, we raised $2.3 million in April of this year at 30 cents a share, which is about a 36. Right now where the stock is, it's about a 36% premium to where the stock is currently trading. We subsequently signed a letter of intent to merge with Spindoolies, and thereafter, that was on April 5th, we signed that letter of intent. We invested $1.5 million into Spindoolies. And the rationale behind this transaction is to build a fully integrated transaction verification services business. And just to kind of put some clarity around those transactions, it's basically a 50-50 merger, all equity deal, except we share the dilution of all financings, including the last financing that we did in April. And it does not include the $1.5 million investment we made. So to kind of break all that down and make it simple so you don't have to dig through all the SEC filings and put it together, we'll own effectively 52% of the company, being BTCS and its shareholders, and Spindoolies will own approximately 48%, exclusive of options and warrants that are currently outstanding, but inclusive of the other transactions. And to kind of give you perspective on what that means just from a valuation standpoint, at 22 cents a share, which is around where we're currently trading, if we were to issue all the shares to Spindoolies, it would give us about a $66 million market cap. Which, Spindoolies just announced revenue of $28 million would give us about a 2.4 to 2.5 times price to revenue multiple based on, 2014 numbers on a pro forma combined basis. Digital BTC, another public company listed on the ASX, has about a $40 million market cap, and based on their June filing, did about $4 million in revenue. So that would equate to about a 10.2 times, trailing revenue multiple, which would mean we're at about a 331% discount to digital BTC if you were to look at the comps. Vigogo, another Bitcoin and blockchain focused company that's listed on the TSX, has about a $77 million market cap, again, US dollars, which based on their $203,000 of revenue for 2014, means they're a 382 times price to revenue multiple, which puts us at a 16,000% discount to Vigogo, if you just want to put on your fundamental analyst cap and look at what we're doing here. So as you can imagine, we're extremely excited about the future of our company. We believe the transaction verification service business will be the cash cow, similar to what Google has done. Moreover, the fact Spindoolies did, $28 million in revenue is somewhat irrelevant, because really the future is what's important. And when you think about the fact that there's about four companies in this space that manufacture the ASIC, application-specific integrated circuitry, or the miners. There's Bitfury, which has raised, I believe, over 30 million, KNC, which has raised over 15 million, in Bitmain. Spindoolies is the only company that wasn't mining themselves. So they are in the business of designing and manufacturing the servers, and we are in the business of running those servers in our facility in North Carolina, which we've been expanding. If you're kind of following the numbers in our company, we did, very small numbers, 38,000 in revenue for 2014, but of which 45% of that approximately came in the last 6 weeks from our transaction verification services business. In 2014, we're about 38,000 in revenue, the majority of which, or 97%, is from the transaction services business, and that's about a 54% gross margin. And since then, we've had about over 400% increase in the number of servers we're running, and we plan to drastically increase that. What's most noticeable, though, or notable, is with Spindoolies' next generation gear, which they're working on. If we're successfully able to complete the merger and launch the next generation gear, we think that'll be 4 to 5 times more efficient than the current equipment we're running. So that would bring our cost, which right now at about a 54% margin, it costs us about just over $100 to mine a Bitcoin in kind of US dollar terms. If it's 4 to 5% or 4 to 5 times more efficient, it'll be a drastic decrease in terms of gross margin as well as return on invested capital. Not to mention, we'll get the margin on both sides that some of our competitors enjoy, i.e., we'll get the margin from the current business that we're currently in, plus that which Spindoolies would typically enjoy. So when we look at this, we see tremendous upside potential in the future, and this is really just the beginning to our business, and it's a great springboard to launch into other blockchain technologies that we've been working on, such as our wallet, such as bringing e-commerce to the international scale, and some of the other efforts that we've been kind of pushing forward in 2014. So with that said, one thing before we jump to the video tour of our facility, I ask those of you that are currently shareholders and want to support the company, that what would be great is to kind of spread the word. Tell your friends not only about Bitcoin Shop as a company, but tell them about Bitcoin's the blockchain and how we're getting involved in this sector. So now let's turn it over and you can have a tour of our facility. Our second tour of our facility. This is one of the fans we just installed. So we have our testing area over here, a bunch of switches ready to go for our build out. We purchased from liquidators 100 of these racks which are on wheels so we can move the gear around. These racks actually came with PDUs, so when we sell those PDUs, we believe we'll pay for the racks and maybe even make a profit. Going forward, you can see all the Spindoolies racks. We have the fans bringing the air down the cold aisle. It's kind of going. This is almost just under a petahash of gear running. You can see our large PDUs up and running, all wired in. A couple more here. Some fans bringing the cool air down. You can really feel it. And now you can see the racks lined up. We bought 12 of these PDUs from another liquidator, and they actually have some breakers that we believe we can sell and pay for the total cost of all 12 of these PDUs and get our money back and maybe even turn a small profit. And this is where it gets really interesting when we think about heat management. We vented, we put up these walls to blow all the cold air from the fan. So it just vents down the hallway, very cool air, and goes to the cold side. So when we finish this wall, we'll have all of the air, you can see the light bulb moving there from the airflow, directed to the cold side. So this is a chiller
it's a Carrier air conditioner, chiller, and this is from 1950, and this is the most interesting thing. If you look at the hours, this is the hours it's been in operation, see if we can get that in focus. I think that equates to what? 43 years this thing has run. It's run for 43 years. So why don't we turn it on? Jerry, you want to fire this thing up?
Well, I hope you enjoyed the ad hoc tour of our facility. You can see it's clearly full with a lot more space to go. So our goal with that facility is to expand it to 3 megawatts in the next 2 to 3 months. On average, our cost is about $100,000 per megawatt in terms of improvements in wiring, which we believe is about 50 to 75% below industry standard. We're also looking at hosting other miners' equipment in that facility as we continue to build it out. And we're also evaluating other data centers that may have even lower cost structures than were afforded at our facility in North Carolina. And before I wrap up, I think for those that are looking at the merger or the pending merger, one of the most important things with this deal that I think we haven't found when we've looked at other companies for possible mergers is just the human capital and the teams. So as part of the merger, Spadulis would be represented on the board by they'd have 50% of the board. I would step down as CFO, so I would remain as the CEO and chairman, which is great. I mean, the fact that they bring a CFO and there's no overlap there, we're truly blessed in terms of their team and what they bring to the table in terms of technical expertise, shared vision, and work ethic. And overall, I think both teams have, frankly, an unyielding determination to succeed and create shareholder value. So, I think that really wraps up this this update. Thank you for your time. And just as a last note, for anyone that's a shareholder, the merger is still pending government approval and other approvals. So there is no guarantee at this point that we'll be able to successfully complete it. So I just like that out there that if you are interested in our company, you should be aware that we have not yet consummated the transaction. Again, thank you for your time.